How do you teach writing? How do you teach anything? I'm reading I, Claudius by Robert Graves. I watched the miniseries on PBS back in 1976, the one starring Derek Jacobi. It also had Patrick Stewart and John Hurt in it. I was fascinated by that story then, and I'm loving it now. There's this passage in that book, and it basically tells us how to be an effective teacher, or parent if you're trying to teach your kid something. I thought I'd share it with you. Athenodorus told me the very first day of his tutorship that he proposed to teach me not facts, which I could pick up anywhere for myself, but the proper presentation of facts. And this is what he did. One day, for example, he asked me kindly enough why I was so excited. I seemed unable to concentrate on my task. I told him that I had just seen a huge draft of recruits parading on Mars Field under Augustus's inspection before being sent off to Germany, where war had recently broken out again. Well, said Athenodorus, still in that same kindly voice, since this is so much on your mind that you can't appreciate the beauties of Hesiod, Hesiod can wait until tomorrow. After all, he's waiting 700 years or more, so he won't grudge us another day. And meanwhile, suppose you were to sit down and take your tablets and write me a letter, a short account of all that you saw on Mars Field. As if I had been 5 years absent from Rome, and you were sending me a letter across the sea, say to my home in Tarsus. That would keep your restless hands employed and be good practice too. So I gladly scribbled away on the wax. And then we read the letter through for faults of spelling and composition. I was forced to admit that I had told both too little and too much, and had also put my facts in the wrong order. The passage describing the lamentations of the mothers and sweethearts of the young soldiers, and how the crowd rushed to the bridgehead for a final cheer of the departing column, should have come last, not first. And I need not have mentioned that the cavalry had horses. People took that for granted. And I had twice put in the incident of Augustus's charger stumbling. Once was enough if the horse only stumbled once. And what Posthumus had told me as we were going home about the religious practices of the Jews was interesting, but did not belong here because the recruits were Italians, not Jews. Besides, at Tarsus he would probably have more opportunities to studying Jewish customs than Posthumus had at Rome. On the other hand, I had not mentioned several things that he would have been interested to hear. How many recruits were there in the parade? How far advanced their military training was? To what garrison town they were being sent? Whether they looked glad or sorry to go? What Augustus said to them in his speech? There it is. Go with students' interests when you can. They'll be a lot more engaged. And try to create an authentic experience. Claudius wasn't writing an actual letter in this case, but this was a realistic scenario. Reflection is the key to all learning, of anything. Don't always explain how to do things first and then have them try it. Sometimes it's better to have them try it and then have them discover with their own work ways that it could be improved. Revision should always follow a critique. So much learning happens with revision. Don't assess everything. A lot of work that students do should be practice, and then getting feedback. Do this a bunch of times, and then you give them a summative assessment at the end. Robert Graves is a great writer, and I also recommend his book, Goodbye to All That. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.